Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. You go away for a weekend and the world seems to tumble around you. So many things seem to happen. It's not the first time that it's happened in the past month, but I'm back now. So let's try and recap what has happened over the past weekend at Celtic Football Club. Like and subscribe if you haven't already. It would be much appreciated on that road to 40,000 subscribers. It feels good to be back. Let's get back to work and talk about Celtics. It's going to be a very busy month. Incredibly busy month as we build to the start of the Scottish Premiership season. We've got so much to talk about today. There's a lot of work that's going to be done transfer-wise over the next 30 days, I would assume. So until I'm next jetting off, let's talk about Celtic. Right before I went away, I done a live stream on Thursday night talking about the potential exit of Jota at Celtic Football Club and the rumours that were swirling around on Thursday morning in regards to maybe going to Saudi Arabia. I came on a live stream and I said, to me, it seemed like nonsense. Don't say it's never going to happen, but I just, with what was there at first, that first report that we seen on Twitter from one of the Saudi Arabian news channels, I thought to myself, there seems to be nothing here. I done my live stream, I came on and said I'd be surprised if this develops any further. Never say never. And then bang, half an hour, 1 hour after my stream was done, the whole world's on top of it. Jota is leaving Celtic, and it was a very real situation. So here is some of the most recent updates we've had in regards to Jota leaving Celtic. Fabrizio Romano tweeted this on the 1st of July, which was Saturday. He said Al Ittihad have prepared documents and contracts for Jota to join the club next week. The player has already accepted. It's a work in progress between clubs, with Celtic for Jota to join Celtic Jota to join Kante and Benzema at Al Ittihad. Once Fabrizio Romano gets involved, there's usually no looking back, and it seems there's been even more reports to suggest this is the truth, and it looks as though we should be ready for Jota to leave the club very, very soon, which is something that I am gutted about. This situation has been one that has divided folk on social media in regards to the player himself and his ambition, because people think he's choosing the money option of Saudi Arabia and not sticking to the ambition of what maybe a professional footballer should at that age. You know, usually people look at the likes of Saudi Arabia being a retirement home for players like Benzema who are a little bit older now and they should go and get that last bit of money. Jota, on the other hand, only 24, maybe has a lot more work to do. The ceiling is very high for him in Europe, so a lot of people getting really upset about that. But I wanted to spend most of my time today talking about why I can understand it and why we need to learn to understand it. I'm not going to sit here and pretend I'm not gutted should Jota leave the club. We're waiting to see what happens now. I'd imagine this week we will hear if he's definitely gone, if that transfer's finalised between Celtic and Al Ittihad. We'll talk about the details and such in a moment too, but I'm not going to pretend I'm not gutted. But there's something that we have to look at here, and it's the fact that better players have come and gone. Jota will be hard to replace, it'll be really hard to replace, but we should trust Brendan Rodgers and trust the Celtic board to do their due diligence and find a suitable Jota replacement. Listen, we've survived so many great players leaving us in the last few years, and it's not held us back from winning trophy after trophy. The thing that truly, I don't want to use the word devastates because I don't want to over-exaggerate, but the thing that devastates me is the fact I thought he was the perfect player we sort of needed to help spear this this kind of thinking that Celtic can be better in Europe. He's the quality that you need for that. You know, he is a top quality player. He's someone who could be playing, I think, at the very highest level of English football, let alone, you know, going over to Saudi Arabia. I feel like he's somebody who is probably too good for the Scottish Premiership. This move was going to happen. It's just happened a little prematurely for me. I thought that we'd get another season out of him here at Celtic. So I am gutted. I'm devastated to see him go. If you know me, he's one of my favourite outfield players at the club. I think he's someone whose quality has been some of the best we've seen at Celtic in recent years. But let's not get our knickers in a twist. Let's not lose the head. He is someone who I think we can replace should the board back Brendan Rodgers properly. And we're hearing rumours they will back Brendan Rodgers properly. But the whole situation with him going, I completely understand. The reports are suggesting that Jota is going to go and make €10 million or $10 million. I can't remember exactly. I think it was euros a year at Al Ittihad in Saudi Arabia, which, if the estimate is correct, comes out to be around £190,000 or 190,000, whatever currency it was, a week. I'll have it on screen anyway to correct me on the currency, but 190,000 a week. At Celtic, he's reportedly on around 30 just now. You would be daft to turn that up, no matter who you're playing for or no matter who you're going to. Fair play, Jota. Fair play. That is generational wealth for his family who come after him. It's money to sort out the family that's currently here with him. It's money that will set him up for life. And this is the thing we've got to have to accept here, people. Saudi Arabia is very quickly becoming one of these leagues in world football that players are going to want to go to. And it might be motivated by money, but that's exactly what has motivated footballers for the last 20 to 30 years. And beyond that, money has always been at the forefront of football. I mean, you can try and pretend it's not been, but it has been. Money is the driving factor in what makes players play and what makes players do what they do. That is exactly what Jota's got to do here and go and take £190,000 a week. I see so many people giving him grief for it because he's got to Saudi Arabia. Oh, he could be better than that. He could be got to play in Europe. He's going to get no offer even remotely close to that from a team in Europe. We're talking about, realistically, right, a team that would come in for Jota, maybe a mid-table Premier League side, or maybe a team towards the top of Spanish football, Italian football. They all have the same kind of resources. He'd probably get something like, I don't know, 70, 80,000 pounds a week, say. We're talking 190,000 quid a week. That is, you can't turn that down. You would be daft. I would be questioning his sanity for turning down that sort of cash. He is getting an opportunity to go and play with the likes of Karim Benzema and N'Golo Kante in a league and a team that is going to just keep getting better and better with the money that they have at their disposal. This is now the time for him to try and do that. He can come back to Europe. He goes over there and say he signs a 4-year deal with Al Ittihad. He goes over and he makes his money for 3-4 years. He'll get a move to England. He'll impress. He would have showed players like Benzema and Kante and showed a manager like Nuno Espirito Santo what he can do. The Portuguese media will be watching him as he plays over there. Considering the likes of Ronaldo are over there, there's a potential chance of Bernardo Silva going. Ruben Neves has went over. The Portuguese press and the Portuguese national team will be looking over at Saudi Arabia now. This is a chance for him to widen some eyes and get into that side with those guys watching over there. This is a huge opportunity for Jota. I would love him to stay at Celtic, but you're talking about an undeniably life-changing experience for him. And he has to take that. That's just how it goes. And people keep bringing out the ruining football stuff. You know, this is the kind of thing that's killing the game, etc., etc. It's no different from England doing it, and it's no different from anywhere else doing it. This is just the way the world's going, let alone football. You know, the world has become a richer place to be, and countries like Saudi Arabia have now been obviously kind of breaking out with the oil money in the last 10, 20 years. It's just the way it's going. I remember I seen this on TikTok the other day about Silvio Berlusconi saying that the Italian league will have its downfall and countries in the Middle East will start to appear. He predicted it like 15 years ago. I know Berlusconi is quite a controversial character, but he was right. And it's just the way the world's going. And there's no point in us sitting here for Aarhuses and East End of Glasgow saying that it's terrible and this, that, and next thing. We can't do anything to change it. And yeah, Celtic will lose players to leagues like Saudi Arabia. We're seeing links with guys like Hatate as well. But what's the difference in us losing a player to Saudi Arabia or losing a player to England? It's what we're used to now. It's what happens. And until there's a fundamental change in the system that Celtic play in, unless we moved to England, that's just what it's going to be. And I accepted that a long time ago, so there's no point in getting hurt over the fact it's the Middle East over England. I will be gutted to see him go. But the money we bring in should hopefully do enough for us to replace him with a player of equal or better quality. Celtic now need to go out and do the business. That's what they have to do to kind of, you know, I can't even use the phrase repay us, but just to give us that bit of optimism and that security of losing a player like Jota. Now let's invest. Now the rumours are right now that they're working on a deal that could go up to as high as €30 million. From my last bit of reading. Of course, we know about that 30% clause that will have to go towards Benfica. But they need to aim high. They need to go as high as and get as close to 30 million as they can. The first original fee that I seen around 25, I thought was a smidgen low for a guy in a 4-year deal. And the quality that he is, but you know, there's only so much you can fleece clubs for. They are businessmen at the end of the day. They know what they're doing. They're not daft. They're giving him a big wage. They probably don't want to give much more to us as a club. But Celtic apparently, reportedly, working towards a deal around 30 million, and that would be good for us. I think that would give us a lot of money to reinvest. And you know, we're talking about a window which has already been rumoured that Brendan Rodgers will have 30-40 million to spend. If we can now top that up with another 20 million, say, then we're in a really good position to go out and replace Jota. So I'm confident of where we go next. I'm confident of how we go and replace him. The recruitment team has been bang on for the last couple of years, so now giving him a little bit more to play with, we could essentially see someone even better come in. So we just need to wait and see. I am gutted about it. I'm gutted to see Jota go, but we'll get over it very quickly and we'll move on. And we'll follow the situation as it develops. So any more news that comes out about it, all the exacts will be on the channel. Right, another bit of sad news that broke on Friday morning was the retirement announcement of Aaron Moy from the game of football. He's not just leaving Celtic, he's not on to another club. He's decided not to take the year extension that was apparently an option at Celtic. He's decided to retire from the beautiful game. And it was one that left me quite sad as I took my train into London on Friday morning. It was something I didn't expect to see. But you know what? Fair play to him. I think that, you know, he can sit here and say a massive thank you to Aaron for the service that he gave us over the past year. A huge part, an influential part in the treble winning side of last season. And someone who I think we'll remember very fondly. He'll go down for me as one of those kind of cult hero, sort of streets won't forget type footballers. You know what all the kids say. I just feel like he's someone who will look back on very fondly, just for giving us a year of solid football, and someone who was very fun to watch. Despite obviously coming into the club with a bit of a mixed reaction, and then starting off with a bit of a mixed reaction, he went on to really show his class for Celtic and prove how much of a footballer he is. And he leaves obviously Celtic with the best wishes. This was a statement the club put up on Friday. They said Celtic midfielder and Australian internationalist Aaron Moy today announced his intention to retire from football with immediate effect. Aaron played a crucial role in our recent record-breaking treble, and we wish him the best for the future. You can go and read all of his comments from leaving Celtic on the club website, but very quickly he started off with saying, I hope Celtic go on to dominate the game, and I wish Brendan, the new manager, great success with the great group of lads at the club. I'm delighted to finish my career on such a high with Celtic, and I would like to thank all the fans for the great support they gave me during the past year. I was delighted to be part of such a memorable season. So there you go, that was Aaron Moy's goodbye to the Celtic supporters, and I wish him the best. Someone who unfortunately has had to retire probably earlier than we would have liked, but he gave us some great memories. So God bless you, Aaron, and all the best for the future. Pre-season begins now. Yes, it's Monday the 3rd of July, and Celtic are ready to return to Lennoxtown. It looks as though pre-season is getting underway. Brendan Rodgers was snapped heading there this morning, greeted by fans as he's ready to start his second tenure as Celtic boss. But very exciting to see us get back to work. I think every player is scheduled to be back over the course of today and this week. So it's all very exciting. We are now getting down to business, of course. We will have a little bit of a refurbishment, you could say. Some furniture moving around the club with players leaving and more coming in. Odin Thiago Holm, there was a lot about him this morning on the Celtic social media channels and the new kits, etc., and talking away, getting his first interview as a Celtic player. So it's all very exciting as we build towards this tour of Japan, and then, of course, the start of the Scottish Premiership campaign, which once again on Friday morning we had the list of games confirmed. Our first 5 games of the season are on screen now. The season kicks off with Flag Day at Celtic Park against Ross County on Saturday the 5th of August. That'll be an early kick-off, I'd imagine, and then we follow that with a trip to Pittodrie, St Johnstone at home, Rangers at Ibrox on the 3rd of September, and then Dundee at home on the 16th of September, before we'll probably head into the first international break of the season. So there is your opening 5. a first 5 that is quite tricky. A trip to Pittodrie and Ibrox, so it'll be very telling to see what the competition is looking like in those first 5 games, especially amongst the top 3 in the country. But a first 5 that I'm excited for nonetheless. Bring on the challenge straight away, and we may as well get it done and over with, and then, you know, we'll get on with the season. But all the games up until the end of the 33 game portion of the season is there. We'll then obviously have the split after that. Once again, I'm away for something huge. I'll be in Philadelphia for the last derby of the known calendar, so it could be a very important derby, and I'll be in Philadelphia. So that's great, fantastic. Things are always timed well for me, aren't they? There you go though. Very exciting. Back to pre-season training today, and then the season kicks off on the 5th of August. Finally. Let's wrap up today with some other good news. Marco Tilio, officially a Celtic player. That was also announced on Friday. I went away on Friday and everything seemed to happen. But he was announced as a Celtic player on Friday. He's now been pictured and all the rest of it in the new Celtic gear. And talking about new Celtic gear, we finally got the reveal and the announcement of the home shirt for the 2023-24 campaign. And yes, it's that. Yep, it's that kit. That one that's on screen now, which is growing on me a little bit. It's still horrendous, but it's not as bad as what it first looked. We'll get used to it. If we start winning in it, I'm sure I won't care. Listen, I don't care that much anyway. We'll move on with it. We'll get on with it. But Tilio, home, the new boys have both been pictured in the kit now. So there you go. That's that on screen. New player, new kit, new season. Here we go. Right, that's us. Fantastic. Catching up from what I've missed this weekend, but we'll have some content all through the week on the channel. We'll be breaking news and stories and rumours and all the rest of it as they all come out. I've also got plans for another couple of videos to look back on some Brendan Rodgers things as we move forward. So yeah, we should have a busy week. It's nice to be back. It's good to see you again. Hope you've enjoyed. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you all next time.